Hello, beautiful people. Hey, Bill, I'm here, back from Build. I have like 5 pages of notes about what I saw and did out there in San Francisco, Moscone Center West, 3 whole days. I'm basically just going to read these off real quick. Here, let me move this over to the screen you're on, so it looks like I'm looking in your general direction. Uh, so anyway, going to talk through these real quick. Then we're going to do a couple experiments. I'll kind of show things that I want to see if I can do the things that they showed us there, and yeah, take a look at a couple of the new tools, that sort of thing. So day one keynote, first thing they brought up was a tool called Docker, which third-party tool. Talked to the guys at their booth, and they seemed real happy to be on that stage. What Docker does is it encapsulates your application, and then it kind of acts as middleware between what you write and whatever server you're on. So it eliminates the any interaction with the server directly. So it's an API for your API, it's a virtualization for your virtualized runtime to sit on top of. It seems neat. I don't know that I'd ever use it. It seems neat, especially if you don't control your target. So if your IT is set up so that they have, this monolithic wall where you can't tweak settings on the server, Docker would help you out with be able to tweak it, and as long as Docker runs on the server, everything's fine. Where I'm at, I own the servers, so it's pretty cool that way. But other people will definitely need it. Then Scott Hanselman came up and talked about Azure. If you haven't been watching Scott Hanselman, maybe you ought to. He's a pretty great speaker. He's got a couple podcasts. The one I listen to is called Hansel Minutes. It's kind of like This American Life for programmers. He just talks to like this person invented a coding language. What drove them to do that, or what's new and happening in Bitcoin. And he'll talk to a person over there. But anyway, he's a good guy. At least a good speaker. I only met him briefly on the street. But he's also pretty big into 3D printing, and that's what his demo was, using Azure to power his remote 3D printer application. And that seemed fairly cool. Then he listed off some things that I didn't know. First, Visual Studio has an Android emulator built into it already, and it apparently has for a while. I never knew about that. It sounds like it might be independent of the Windows Phone emulator. I know the Windows Phone you need to have Hyper-V installed to make it go, but the Android one you might not. So I don't know, dig around in that if you're an Android developer. The other neat thing there was the Azure Logic applications. Basically, this is like a workflow for APIs. So if you want to, say, every half hour call out to Twitter, get data from there, then call into your application, munch on that data a little bit, and spit it out to Facebook, you could use Azure Workflow applications to do that. It again seems kind of neat. Not sure that I am the target demo for it. But even so, I still have some uses. Right now at work I'm building an application that has to call out to a tool that does automated scanning. And we're going to pull data in from that, munch it into a report, and then email customers to let them know that the report has happened. Right now, most of that's happening on like a daily, what's essentially a cron job, right? Every day at midnight, my tool goes out and sees if there's data. With this, it could be triggered by the scanning tool, or it could be literally anything else. I could trigger from my phone if I wanted. Although I guess there's something stopping me from doing that on my desktop. Either way, it seems like a cool thing. Somebody ought to play with it. And somebody will probably be me. First thing I actually wanted to demo a little bit make it happen, is Visual Studio Code. It's just under code on my, yeah, there we are. Let me stage a scene real quick. Sorts of data for you. Zoom this out. So Visual Studio Code is just like a super light text editor. It looks like Notepad++, or at least in my head it functions like Notepad++. It lets you write in a ton of different languages. Let's do... Trying to think of a language I can do the includes and header for from scratch. PHP test.php. Maybe HTML. Actually, you don't need those, do you? I just need to do a body and a body and a P and a P. This isn't working as well as I had hoped. Kind of wanted it to start. Okay, well now it's working. That's an unexpected value. Maybe it is working. Maybe I cannot do PHP from memory. Wow, what does a basic PHP file look like? A terrible person. PHP hello world. Oh, they do as an inline. Okay. Not big fan of how this isn't auto-completing though. Huh. Check in with Git. Debug. Yeah, that's kind of a bummer. Let's see. New file. We're gonna call this file save as. Oh, cool. The default place for that is in your cache, huh? Test.cs. Public class program. Alright, we're getting IntelliSense, we're getting text highlighting there. Public static void main var I equals 0 I plus plus console.writeLine. So I need to use, let's see here, console.writeLine C#. So I need to do some includes up here. It's just using system. All right. And let's see if we can debug it. F5 doesn't work. Oh, hey, cool. It knows what language we're working in. Vote on this PHP file. Yeah, knew it was PHP. Here's all the languages it says it supports. It just worked really poorly for PHP. Like, why isn't it auto-completing the tags here? That's kind of dumb. And this is the feedback button, I think. So here, we're going to send some feedback. When I create an HTML PHP opening tag, the closing tag should be generated on if I end a tag with boom boom closing tag should be removed. Womp. Send. Hey, feedback. And I talked like to 4 or 5 Microsoft people. They all say the stupid smiley face thing here is actually how they're making decisions on a product level, as far as like adding and removing features. With the ASP.NET guys, they actually want bugs and things like that submitted by a GET, which, okay. Oh, you know what? I have a chat hidden from me. If you have any questions or concerns or anything product level, just pop them up in chat. I'm watching there now. Okay. Anyway, I want to see if we can actually build and run this thing. File preferences. Nope. Looks like I would have to actually have to take it into a compiler, probably with this command palette. Okay. So I'm gonna hit F5 again. Nothing is happening. Yeah, so I'm guessing you have to link it to your compiler and maybe into a debugger. But hey, there's a lot of commands in here. Looks like you can customize this pretty well. I don't know about plugins. That was the thing that somebody asked me about when I first popped it open the other day. Guessing not. You can talk to them on Twitter. Oh, maybe this is where they actually want feature requests to go. Doing that again. Well, hey, that's what that is. Okay, so onwards and outwards. After save those changes. That's Visual Studio Code. I did say it has full IntelliSense, which you know, maybe that works better for just C# and maybe VB.NET, VB6, but I'm guessing not. It is still early though. I think it's in beta preview or some nonsense. So look for that in a year if you're not doing C#, and if you are doing C#, use Visual Studio Community. What's wrong with you? Next in the keynote, they talked about SQL databasing and data warehousing, and I fell asleep. I just cannot care. One thing they mentioned is a new product called Data Lake. It's a storage service that allegedly lets you house unlimited amounts of data, and it's stored in whatever format you give to it. I don't know what what benefits that has. Maybe you do. Maybe Data Lake is for you. It also exposes data on Hadoop, which I haven't looked into at all. Hadoop might be awesome. Its logo is on literally everything down there. Hadoop powers the world. I don't know what it is. So, well, hey, I've got all the tools here. Let's go see if we can figure out what Hadoop is. First autocomplete from Google is Hadoop World. So Hadoop is a tool from Apache. What is Apache Hadoop? Big data munching, it looks like. Maybe a standard set for it. So hey, that's neat. Then there was Office, and that presentation was not for me at all. It was very buzzwordy. It seemed like there was a lot there for management types. The couple things they mentioned, they're opening up Office for third-party integration, and it looks like you can kind of hook into the UI a little more than you could before. I talked to somebody at Uber, got a little bit more clarification on their demo, and it's basically in a checkbox you can put in on an appointment or a calendar event to remind you that you have to go to a place and see if you want to call a car. So with iOS and Android, the Uber app will push out a notification to you. And then with the Windows Phone app, it's an SMS message, because apparently they couldn't figure out how to do push notifications on the Windows Phone app, or Windows Phone store. That might be a limitation of Windows Phone, but I'm not sure. The other one that I talked to on the floor was Boomerang, and they're a service that does they parse a message for natural language, dates and times. So if you were to say something like, "Get back to me at 6:30," or "Get back to me by 6:30 tonight, otherwise I'm going to do this other thing," it will pop up and say, "Hey, do you want me to remind you at 6:30 to follow up on this email?" And hey, that's great. It will also let you create, if somebody sends you an email that has a date or time in it, you can click on it and then create a calendar event or a calendar appointment from that, which is handy. If I don't know, of all the Office third parties I saw on the floor, Boomerang was the coolest. Salesforce had something in the Office area, but they were talking. When I went up to them, they're like, "Here, do our developer challenge," which I did in order to get a hoodie. Yeah, also wearing swag shirts, because I'm just the worst kind of person. Then they brought up Windows at the keynote. They mentioned holograms like every 30 seconds, because holograms are sexy. We'll talk about that a little more in a bit. They're promising one Windows Store for all platforms again, and I totes believe them. Xbox Live, Cortana, and Live Tiles will integrate into all apps, including web applications, which I thought was pretty hot. I don't know about putting Cortana on my my website. That would be kind of cool. Although I think I have to imagine, if you have the access to Cortana, you must be running on a Windows machine already, probably a Windows 10 machine. I don't think they're going to let me just embed Cortana and or make a call out to Microsoft servers. Although if they do that, I'm all in. I will do that today. But they will also offer Xbox Live support, which is way cooler. For in my head, I've been making a web game for a little bit. There is one on RobertSpaceIndustries.com for their for Star Citizen, which is a space simulator. They put up a little web game to simulate how mining will work in their game, but the little web game sucks. It's terrible. There's you're basically balancing a slider, and that's not hard or interesting. So I've been thinking about making a space asteroid mining web game that's using standard web controls, your buttons, your click links, that sort of thing, but just make it a little more interesting. If I can put achievements in that, and they actually associate with a Windows account, hot damn, that's cool, and I would make that my next side project. All Windows Universal apps are going to work in HoloLens. I'll talk about that a little bit more later, but that is also super awesome. They promise. Actually, I might be able to pull this out here. I have my my new laptop here. They're promising HoloLens in Windows 10. Let me see if this will play on screen or not. Do I want to enter tablet mode? Yes. Okay. As tablet mode means you don't get to go to the desktop. So maybe you can see this here. Nope. It doesn't work in tablet mode. That sucks. Okay, I would like to not be in tablet mode now. Yes, I do want to exit tablet mode. That needs a little bit of work. So I got the laptop. I put Windows 10 on it like immediately. Now let's see. So you can see in the start menu, you can kind of get my desktop image behind there. Same with the task menu. That's Aero Glass coming back at you. Although I'm sitting on Windows 8.1 here, and I have a similar effect. Only when I hit the start menu, you get that full screen nonsense, which fades everything away. Oh, you know what? Let's take a look at an application. Maybe that's where this is happening. I've moved away from Internet Explorer like instantly. Yeah, fuck, that is not Aero Glassy at all. Although that's can't be the proper UI, right? Let's see if there's some other app in here. Xbox has its own app, and also not Aero Glassy. So that sucks. I do want transparency back. I'll disable it when I need to disable it. It's a minor thing, but it makes everything feel polished, you know? Oh yeah, the start menu. It's not full screen, but man, look how wide that is. That's 3/4 of my. Can I zoom out here? There we go. That's 3/4 of my display. That is, whew, that's huge. It's I hope they trim that down some. I guess it's better than full screen, but man. The lock screen information displays information about features that aren't being used. That is a true fact of science. This is the lock screen right now. Let's see. They put up a picture of a microphone, and over here, as if I tap up here. So it's asking me if I'm a fan of this desktop lock screen image they're showing me. I'm not. Thanks for the feedback. We'll switch you to something else. And then I get a beautiful picture of a lake. Aww. And yeah, I'm okay with the picture of the lake. Thanks for the feedback. We'll use this to improve our future. So that's the lock screen. It was kind of hinted at. We'll talk more about the lock screen here in a hot minute because we're just going to start talking about the Windows Store. They're promising that things are going to be easier to discover in the Windows Store, and to that end, it was hinted at that the lock screen might suggest things in the store that you would be interested in, which I mean that can't be right, right? That'll just make consumers super mad. It's starting to see ads when they turn on their computer. I mean, even if it were my app on their personal, my app on every Windows 10 computer everywhere, I'd still be against that. The start menu is going to bring up store results. So when you hit start and start typing in with the thing you're looking for, it'll look for the application on your computer first. If it doesn't find it, or even if it does find it, it'll probably still bring up hits from the store, which I'm less upset about that. I'm kind of actually explicitly cool with that. The example they gave is if you have like Star Wars Rebel Assault or something like that installed on your computer, and there's a new Star Wars Rebel Assault, it'll mention that. It'll kind of bring it up to the top. And Cortana explicitly is the one who's going to do that. So if you say Cortana launch Left 4 Dead 2, he'll be like, "Did you know Evolve is out now?" And then hopefully launch the thing you actually asked for, or maybe give you the chance to pause that and go buy Evolve. We'll see. They added a bunch of new billing options. You can pay for your Windows Store bill with your cell phone bill. That doesn't matter so much in the U.S. where everybody has a credit card, but maybe more in Africa where people are, they have a phone, but they might not have banks. They did not mention Bitcoin, which kind of made me mad. They've been promising super future integration with Bitcoin, but it's still like in this weird ghetto that I can't get at. Every purchase I've made on the Windows Store and Xbox Live since they've had Bitcoin integration has been with Bitcoin, and I still can't tell you how to do it. You have to go to like this special page that's not linked from anywhere, and then buy a gift card with Bitcoin. So I'm locked into $25 increments that I spend on the store. It's a nightmare, and they should start treating it like a regular currency or get BitPay. I think they're already using BitPay. Get BitPay to do more of the work. So you can monetize via subscriptions, referrals, ads, or purchase orders. And the purchase orders are only for the Microsoft Business Store. So I guess I can make a set of 10,000 licenses available. A store can a business can buy 1,000 of them, and then they'll be billed through the mail for those licenses, I guess. That's not my ballpark. Maybe there's somebody out there who is interested in purchase orders, and God bless them. They are promising 1 billion installations of Windows 10 within 3 years. They must be expecting a lot of people to just take that free upgrade offer, which would be cool. I hope they do that. So the Windows Store can now have 4 types of apps, in addition to whatever used to be allowed in there, I guess. The store can now have web apps, which is great for me. Win32 apps, regular .NET, which I could have swore was what was in there now, and then Android and iOS. So on the Android front, I went to the floor and talked with Agnieszka Gerling, who's the group program manager for Project Astoria. So this is before they did the talk about Project Astoria. I had another talk I had to be at that point. But she was talking like it was. She wouldn't confirm or deny that you could sideload an app. So what I'm hoping for personally is I have an APK for XYZ Android app. I just upload it to my phone via USB cable, and I'm good to go. She wouldn't say that that's possible or not. She kind of made it sound like you need to recompile, but I think that's mostly to look for Google Play services, because those won't make it over, obviously. She was also super concerned about notions of IP ownership, which makes me think the flow is you vet this app like you would a 3D printed model on Microsoft, like upload it to Azure. Azure decompiles and looks to see what gets called, and then it doesn't need any changes. It ships it off to the store, like with no human interaction. I hope that's not how it actually works. And then this is intended to allow developers to port easily, not to allow consumers to load Android apps onto their Windows phones. So it may be possible to sideload, but that's not their intention. So maybe don't do it. Candy Crush Saga on the Windows Phone was an iOS port. Everybody seems to like it. Maybe. I don't know anybody who plays Candy Crush Saga. Actually, no, I know one guy who does. He has an iPhone. So he's happy. Xbox Live support is possible on all applications that are ported this way. It's cool to see Xbox Live on more platforms. And then this all inspired me to download Hitman Go when I got home on the new laptop. And that's a good game. Go get Hitman Go. I think it's on all tablets that exist. It ran better, way better on my Surface than it did on Windows 10. The Surface is running Windows 8.1, so keep that in mind. My Surface is a more beastly machine, but performance is a drag on Windows 10. I got to imagine that's just that's something that's gonna go away fairly quick. God, I hope so. Anyway, universal apps. XAML is still the focus for UI. Again, all those other methods will work. You can still do a web. You can do Android or iOS or Windows or Win32 or .NET with WinForms, I guess is what they mean by that. I don't know. Maybe they're thinking .NET is WinForms and then Silverlight is WPF and XAML, like XAML is part of Silverlight. Wasn't clear. But anyway, they're still focusing on XAML for Windows Universal Apps. The state can be stored in the cloud, so you can persist across devices. The example they gave was looking at a certain place on a map, and then on a desktop PC, and then going over to their phone and pulling up that map, and it was right where they were focused. I have to imagine OneDrive is where they're expecting us to save this information. So hopefully OneDrive will hold all of this information for bazillion T apps. I guess we're going to keep bumping up the amount because I'm storing tons of just regular data, Office files and that sort of thing in OneDrive. And I have a bunch of music that I need to upload to OneDrive. And if that music and that data eats up 80%, I don't know where all of these application settings are going to go. I guess we'll see in the future. So adaptive experience is what they're calling responsive design for desktop. Somebody actually went on stage, meant adaptive experience, and said responsive design. Everybody knows it's responsive design. The sooner they drop that nonsense, the better. But anyway, it's powered by a new XAML control, which is called Relative Panel. It's not super clear how that'll be applied for people who are not doing regular old-fashioned, or people who are not doing XAML. I'm just going to continue to do responsive design for web apps, but if you're a Win32 programmer or heaven forbid an Android, well, I guess Android probably has it figured out. It'd be the iOS guys who have a hard time with that. And even they sort of have to deal with it in their sandbox. I don't know. I guess we'll find ways around it. But in XAML, relative panel exists and it looks pretty smooth. And it looks kind of easy. So next up, web on desktop, which is something I was paying a lot of attention to. This is powered by a JSON file called manifest.json. You list all of the URLs you're actually going to hit, and or that the app needs to pull from to set itself up, and then it builds off of that. It sounds like it's just a browser without any Chrome, other than the close and that sort of thing. It's not super clear how you're going to maintain a consistent design. How Windows has, they're not super firm with it, haven't been, but they've been more firm with design choices recently than they have been in, say, Windows 95 days. I guess it's just going to be up to you to make an app that looks good. And since this is going to work on Windows Phone and Windows Store apps, Windows Store, they're going to be, they were actually super strict for Windows Store apps and how things are supposed to look. The optimal experience, where you have like a third of your second screen visible on the first screen, so that customer or users know to swipe over. So that's weird. I guess they might just be giving up on the idea of making that unified design, which is good. They're not Apple. Like, if I wanted to have everything look identical to everything else, I'd be on Apple. Microsoft Edge is the new name for Project Spartan. That name is dumb. Project Spartan is actually a pretty good name. I would use the Spartan browser. The logo, also pretty dumb. But it's clean and the Chrome is lean. The impression I have is that Android plugins, or not Android, I'm sorry, Google Chrome plugins will work in Spartan. So I'm gonna let's take a look here. I've got Spartan open here. Oh, had Spartan open here. Come on. Can't really see what you guys are seeing. Sorry, somebody's nonsense got in my way. Alright, so Chrome's Edge is here. Super bright. I'm just going to try it out real quick. There's an extension I use called LastPass. And I'm going to download for free. Recommended. They're trying to push LastPass for Windows on me. LastPass for Chrome, no binary features. And that puts me to the Chrome store. So I guess it's on LastPass to release a version of this that is not on this store. I guess I have one floating out there somewhere in the ether that might work. I'd have to dig it up. It was on a blog post from like 5 years ago or something. But it sounds like they're doing compatibility between the two. If that becomes its standard, if Mozilla will follow Chrome and Edge, that would be super awesome. Developing browser plugins kind of sucks. What else did I have to say about that? Oh, when you open a new tab, Cortana is going to suggest stuff that you might want to look at. If you've had Windows Phone, it kind of does that already there. So I guess it's just a continuation. Then there's Continuum, which is basically plug your phone into a monitor and keyboard, and mouse, I guess. And When phones are cool enough to do that, I'll be super excited. We're not there yet, though. Somebody is spamming the hell out of me. Okay. But yeah, Continuum. Eventually that's where it's all going to end, right? The keyboard and mouse, pretty great user interface. They're great input devices, and we want big screens. I don't know that the screen's going to stick around forever. So we're going to talk about HoloLens here. With HoloLens on stage, they demoed. You could take a movie. Now I can watch. Here, I happen to have Final Fantasy Spirits Within on my desk. I could have that ripped to the hard drive in my HoloLens and play it on a screen. And I can pin the screen to my wall back here, above my crappy little TV, which that one right there. Pin it above there, and then I can stretch it out so that the TV or the screen that the HoloLens is putting in that spot is 72 inches or 3,000 inches or whatever size will fit, and then I'm just watching it there. And now I imagine it's going to be a lot like zooming in on a video. If you on this video, if you were to zoom in, it starts getting really pixely really quick. But if you have 4K content blasted up there, that'll get pretty big. So if you can just pin that to a wall, stretch it out, you don't need a monitor anymore. You have your stupid headset. You use 2D apps, the Windows Universal apps, and they just kind of fly around in a window, and you can pin them to stuff. The apps have a back, and it's kind of concaved, but it sort of looks like 2D and 3D space, which is weird, but it seems functional. It seems fine. I'd use it. I would love to take my monitors down at my office, put on this headset with earbuds, and the rest of my office cannot exist for a while I work. Excuse me. Pinning the video chamber. The thing they kind of underplayed, at least in my opinion, was the little virtual pets that they had running around the room. Those things were, they were fine. But I'm imagining a near future where somebody puts a lot of work into making a virtual pet. And, it's a little dog that runs around your house, and you have to take care of it. Basically, if you had like a 10-year-old who wanted to have their first dog, you could use this thing to prove to me you're responsible enough. That seems like a good place to start. I've actually always been kind of fascinated with Tamagotchis and the like. The VMU for Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast was like my favorite part of the Dreamcast with the Sonic with the Chow, the cow. Raising those and making them better racers was super fun. It was actually the first thing I programmed in Python was a knockoff of that. I think those are the way to go. There's a lot of depth there that wasn't really explored and won't be for a while. There's a book. Oops. Otherland by Tad Williams. In that book, it's they have a virtual reality application similar to what the HoloLens is, and you had what is essentially Cortana, only it appeared as an avatar inside your HoloLens. Yes, I want it. I've wanted that since that book came out in like the early 90s. That's kind of the thing I've been sitting here programming, daydreaming about, and I'm glad that somebody's getting there. On a related note, the B-15 robot. If you haven't seen that, go look at that presentation. It's a physical robot. It's on 4 wheels. It has a little head mount, right? And then when you put on the HoloLens, it gets a skin put over it, and it looks like anthropomorphic robot that you see in any sci-fi movie. Although this particular one is super cute. I imagine you can make your own skins and whatnot. Is there they're kind of going after the makers with it. I think everybody in the world will want one of those things. Like I can't imagine somebody who thinks it's pointless. And just you could make it go get you beer. That's a use case for everyone there. I signed up for the HoloLens, one of the private showings. Everybody and their brother was going after one of these HoloLens slots. Um, the application, the website that they set up, did not work very well on mobile. That is to say, you couldn't tell what you had selected. So it was kind of random. Like I hit a bunch of crap trying to make it go because I wanted to get into one of these. What I ended up seeing was kind of a private showing of the same demo they gave at the announce trailer. You can go in and I can walk you through screwing in a light switch, or we can share 3D printing through Skype, or 3D printing objects through Skype. And it was a cool demo, and kind of I'd already seen it, but seeing it in the smaller room allowed me to kind of see some of the problems with HoloLens, where they're at now. And it's right now kind of floaty. So imagine, this camera, this thing down here is the 3D projection, and it's always just kind of floating around like this. It's never perfectly still. The reason I think that that's happening is because the human head is never perfectly still. Even when I'm talking, my head bobs around a little bit. I'm looking around, kind of watching my my video here, looking at the camera, looking at my notes. Every time I glance around, my head moves just fractions of an inch. The HoloLens is so sensitive that it's detecting that, and then the projection's moving around. I got to imagine if they put in a dead zone, that'll take care of it. However, since I thought of that in about 4 seconds, I assume they have done that, and there's still some float there. Hopefully they get that straightened out. I didn't get a chance to put one on, and that is a huge bummer. Apparently people were able to get onto those like immediately, and that booked out to the end of the conference in a couple minutes. That's most of the keynote stuff. There is a Visual Studio plugin for Minecraft. It's not especially clear what that is, other than, but yeah, they really just wanted to get this kid on stage who apparently is big in the Minecraft modder scene, and have him talk about how he made a thing in Visual Studio. Good on him. Good on them, I guess. I couldn't care. They showed a Final Fantasy video in DirectX 12. That looked pretty cool. Throw up these pictures real quick. So that was the show floor. This is outside. That's the line to get into the day one keynote. This is on the first floor. The keynote was on the third floor. So that that was quite a line. I ended up in an overflow room on the second floor, which is fine. This is what I wanted to talk about. They had a event that they invited everybody to on Wednesday night to go see Ghost Recon, the new Ghost Recon. And Major Nelson was there. Got to meet him, shake his hand, whatnot. But the new Ghost Recon game is fantastic. Go play it. There was some setup issues, so they started late, and they had a hard out at midnight because they were keeping like security guards, and the staff for the Microsoft Store was sticking around, and then these Ubi. Guess I don't know how to point. No, I can't really point to this. There's that lady in the blue shirt there looking at the monitor. She was an Ubisoft employee. Those people needed to get out. So anyway, hard out at midnight. So there were about 150 people there. I got to play a total of 4 rounds because of that hard out. instead of getting 3 rounds to once on attack, once on defense for the second round of the tournament. They said just do first win wins. So it went from so basically we got knocked out quickly. But it was super fun. I am looking forward to getting a group of friends together so we can figure out the best places to blow up walls and free a hostage, or fortify those walls so people can't blow it up. It was great. I took that picture at the end of day one. All these black boxes are laptops that they were giving away, and you can see them loading more into that blue room behind them, behind the boxes. They had so many people there and gave away so many laptops. I cannot believe the expense that this con must have. And that's all the pictures. This last bit is kind of what I went there to do, to learn more about how ASP.NET 5 is working. As of this very moment, it is in beta. They are planning to have an RC soon. Throughout the demo, there were a couple bugs here and there, so I imagine they're gonna have to knock those out before they can hit RC. But they said they were going to be one version behind the regular .NET folks. Let me bring this over here. The new hotness on the internet. Wrong screen. I'll find it yet. There we go. New hotness on the internet is docs.azure. Oh, no. docs.asp.net. This site is super neat. Yeah, it sounds like it's pulling up their GitHub page, and if I just go in here and tweak this nonsense, do a poll and request a poll, it'll update the page, which will in turn update the website. This documentation is super smooth and looks pretty great to me. Yeah, also making Visual Studio on a Mac. What? Or making a ASP.NET on a Mac. That is crazy town to me. They're using it with Visual Studio Code, which I suppose is totally doable. They did a demo for us. And I'm looking for... so they did a demo that I want to try and replicate here. We're going to make a Visual Studio... Visual Studio 2015. Alright, so we're going to start a new project. We're going to make a website. Then I'm going to move it over to this tablet. And we're going to... This tablet has not had Visual Studio, IIS, anything installed. It's about as raw as... Other than Hitman Go, I have not installed anything on this laptop. So we're going to try to move the website over to that laptop using this. Oops, sorry. You can't see anything I'm doing here. Using this thumbstick and nothing else. And we're just going to plug it in and see if a laptop or if the website opens. That's been their promise. I'm just going to have you look at my pretty face while I check to see if, excuse me, I check to see what's on this disk. Do. This was supposed to be a boot disk for SpinRite. And looks like some school stuff got put in there. Okay. Let's switch back to the desktop. There we go. So here's the thumb drive, and here's me to format it. We're going to use NTFS, and we're going to call it gthumb. Alright, so while that's doing that, let's make a new ASP.NET web application. Key. Let's see if these guys are talking. Just gotta throw this up, or throw me back up there real quick. There's some housekeeping I need to do. Visual Studio keeps popping up over this dialog. Desktop again. Okay, format's complete. Close. If we go back into here, empty thumb is empty. So we're creating a web application. I'm told this goes smoother when oh, hey, here we are. Let's pull up the website. I want to see creating a new ASP.NET. Nope. Yeah, I guess that's a good question. ASP.NET preview. I would like a website. Screw that. Running the application. So you'd open your web browser, create that. What I'm interested in is getting this to run on a server. Publish to Azure, nope. Well, let's see if it's as easy as I hope. Add folder and core reference to. Let's see. Maybe we don't need to do that. So one thing that they've mentioned that I'm kind of excited about is I can edit code and hit F5 and it's like just done. Back in Visual Studio for normal people, which I should close, they you know, you hit F5 to debug, then you can't edit code, like you're just locked out until you stop the debugger. We'll see how that works out here. Welcome to ASP.NET. Okay, give me my controller for. Huh, this is kind of running like a nightmare. Okay, and index. Let's put in a message here, view bag. Really? You're not gonna message equals this is tacos. Show me that view. What I'm thinking. Do you adjust that? What I'm thinking is I'm looking at context. No. Why is view bag not lit up? Let's go to the view. Okay. Apparently you can't just go to views anymore. So we'll go into the views, into home, and then into index. That's a little complicated. Let's see what it looks like. Looks like this might be the link that I want. How an ASP.NET application can run anywhere. Okay, so this came up. Did my view bag pop? I don't think it was in there. Tacos. Nope. Okay. So that's the new layout, I guess. Theming using Bootstrap. I guess one day I'll have to figure out how to learn that. I would like to publish as defined. that's rough. Getting started on Windows. Anyway, let's pop back into to this. I want to make changes. Oh, look at these new the new diagnostics. I talked to somebody in the Visual Studio booth about these. It's running at a constant 130 megs. This is the nonsense it's been calling and launching. I think we can get a chart for CPU usage if we really wanted to. Anyway, I want to make a change to say this is not tacos. Oh my god. Okay, before we test that, let's put those words in something. Viewbag message. The screen. Okay, so it's telling me that this is in fact tacos. And now I'm going to go back to my controller. This is not tacos. Save and rebuild. Oh ho ho, look at that. Lies. So it'll let me edit, but it won't actually update the runtime unless I hit F5 maybe? I hit F5. We'll see if it does anything. Let's try this relaunch tool. And it's still tacos. Okay, well it is no longer tacos. So hooray for that, I guess. On back to tacos. I have learned that this doesn't help. That isn't quite as quick as I was led to believe it would be. Okay, that's how it is, I guess. Oh, hey, we're back to tacos. I think it's a word, Rakita. All these tacos being taco-ish. What else we got going on here? Docs, today's video. Let's take a quick look around in Visual Studio. Let's stop you. Static files now have a compliant place to live, I guess. That's in this www root folder. They're throwing CSS and images into that. And it looks like JavaScript. Let me back out of that real fast. Do they? Yeah, that's all. It's all down there. There's no scripts folder outside of it. They do have. I cannot aim with my mouse apparently. They do have these things. This gulp file, which I think is for importing nonsense. I think this is a jQuery sort of deal. Or not jQuery, a Node.js. Project JSON is for controlling your NuGet. So the project JSON is what the application wants, and your dependencies folder is what it actually has. No, there's supposed to be your references. Here it is. Your references are what it actually has. You'll see these dependencies, the Bower, that's definitely for Node.js. Package.json. Let's see if I wrote down what package.json is for. I did not. Tag helpers. We'll get to tag helpers in a minute. The startup CS is what your startup folder used to be. This is where you plug in all this. This is what runs when IIS first starts, ASP.NET, and when your application first starts. You throw in. They're saying it's a pipeline now. I don't know how that differs from what it was before, but you can throw in your overloads and your things that you want to run initially, any configuration options, that sort of stuff, all goes in here. I'm worried that there might be a lot going on here. Here's where you find your routes. Here's where you load EF. Add entity from it. That so that's new. The EF does not have a shit. I'm looking here. Do you see a web.config? Because I don't. Properties? Yeah, I think I didn't know that they were going to get rid of webconfig altogether. They said the database connection string would be moved out of webconfig, but they didn't say there would be, or I'm sorry, it would be moved out of the project. But they didn't say the webconfig would be taken out entirely. That's a little scary. As man, I don't know that I've made a project in the last 5 years where I didn't have to change something in there. Huh. So how do I change the connection string? How do I define a context? Defining a context, I guess I can figure out, but yeah, connection strings are important. Connection. So the connection string is stored in what is called a user secret. That is hidden somewhere in your users folder. I guess let me pop open a. I saw there were migrations here. So it's connected to something. Let me hop into here. Projects, maybe visual source. Visual Studio 2003, or 2013 rather. There's the only one in that folder. There's none in that folder. Let me look for Web Application 2 and see if it has a folder anywhere on my disk. Still looking. Sorry for the hold up. Yeah, so in the speeches they said that their connection string was pulled out and would be stored in your user folders somewhere. It wasn't clear to me how you would set that up server side, unless you have whoever controls your server go in and add it to something there. They didn't get into that configuration setup detail, but hopefully they will. Yeah, and I'm not. Why don't I open in File Explorer? I was in. Okay, well, I'm in Visual Studio 2015. Code snippets, start templates, architecture explorer. So what I'm a little worried about with this release is they're making everything super customizable, which, hey, great, give more control to the programmers. But that complicates things, and so far I'm not clear on how to do a lot of stuff. Hopefully, as we hit release candidate, that'll be cleaned up. But I kind of went to build with the expectation of they're going to walk me through how to tweak all this nonsense, what the publishing route would look like. But it ended up being fairly quick. When I went and looked through File Explorer here, there was not a whole lot of a web config didn't jump out at me. A user secret didn't either. But I'll look into that, I guess, and maybe in a few weeks or months we'll look into converting Build Labs to an MVC or an ASP.NET 5 application. Anyway, we've got this thing here set up. Let's see how we publish to the screen. How we publish. Well, let's try what would be natural. I'm going to right click on the application and I'm going to look for publish. Got nothing. So I'm going to go to build and publish web application 2. I would like to publish this to the file system. Web app 2. Okay. Target. I want to put this onto my drive that we set up earlier. Excuse me. And we built it. Finished copy. Time elapsed 5 seconds. Executing some command. Throwing a lot of DLLs together. Okay, so we got a global.json here. Getting folders put together for all of the dependencies. And this is, a default web application with MVC. You insert a default blank web application. I imagine that'll be a lot thinner. What I'm wondering is if this is going to depend on some server architecture that I don't have because of all of these dependencies. If I just want to put up a page that says hello world with default web app, it might be a little easier. We'll see once this is done. Holy hell! So one thing that they mentioned. Let me find my note on that. I think this is a Hanselman line. Somewhere in here. We didn't include an error page. We don't include static file handling. This is innovation. If you go with that blank website, you literally get nothing but bare bones ASP.NET. Like I said, once this is done, assuming it doesn't publish cleanly, we'll go back and try it again with fewer bells and whistles. Still publishing. Wow. Hopefully that gets smaller in the future. I guess while I'm waiting, let's take a quick second to talk about Green Man Gaming. There we go. They're helping me out, helping me get out to build, do my tweets, come back and put that knowledge on the internet. Green Man Gaming is the bee's knees. They sell video games. You can get them. In some cases they're direct downloads, but often you're buying code to download the game on Steam. The games are usually cheaper there all by themselves, and with the software code Green Man Gamer 20 off, you can get 20% off just about any game in there. It says selected digital titles, but unless the game is already like super crazy discounted, it seems to work. Right now, if you already have a Green Man Gaming account, or if you sign up for one today, you can get Batman. Here, I'll throw this up. The new Batman game. Come on. Just heading up Green Man Gaming here. You can get the new Batman game from the VIP section. You have to be logged in for deals to show up in the VIP section. But yeah, new Batman, not even out yet. It's already $43. I buy from them a lot because they do support Bitcoin, which is my preferred way to pay for stuff. They support it directly, but your credit cards work there too. PayPal, if you're worried about fraud, these guys they got you covered. They're super reputable, pretty popular. If you started asking people where they can get games cheaper than Steam, this is the place that's going to pop up. I like them a lot. If you go over to Build Labs, BILLDLABS.com/GMG for Green Man Gaming, you'll let them know that I sent you their way. It would be pretty cool if you get a whole bunch of people doing that. Yeah, it would make my life better. Hey, thanks for sticking with me. Okay, it says we've successfully published 2E, so let's take a look, see what actually came out. Created 2 minutes ago, 22 megabytes of crap. My page that says hello world. Okay, so we've got ef.cmd, gen.cmd, and web.cmd. So I'm gonna pop over to, here, let me make it so you can see what I'm seeing. That'd be helpful, right? Okay, heading over to my laptop. It has nothing but whatever comes with default Windows 10 installed. No Visual Studio, no IIS. We're sticking on the thumb drive, going into Explorer. Oh, and to Hitman Go, I guess. Because I've signed up, they moved over my my desktop, I guess, and some settings. So I don't know what comes with that. Pretty sure if I type in IIS, it'll show up eventually. Yeah, I get nothing. And Visual Studio. No results. And I'm actually curious to see what happens if I type in .NET. No results. Back out of that. I was like, no way is that possible that there is nothing for .NET, so I did a deeper search. But yeah, nothing for .NET either. So going into my computer, I'm going to go to empty thumb. Maybe we're going to go to empty thumb. This laptop's keyboard kind of sucks. So I'm going to just click on this WebCMD. Brings up a console. And it says the site has started. I'm just going to go to localhost. Nope, that didn't work. Maybe started means it's got more to do. I'm going to do a quick Google and see if there's anything I need to add to that. Publish WebCMD ASP.NET 5. Should be a space in here. This does still just say WebCMD. What happens if I bring up Task Manager? Over to there's processes. I see DNX is running. That's the tool that's supposed to install everything and do all the parsing. Looking for service host IIS. Okay. Nothing for WebCMD. Nothing on localhost yet. .cmd. Page is a lie. My code? Oh, yeah, sorry about that. The guy that popped up in my code. Here, I'll change it to my web browser. There you go. So why? Oh, that's showing code because I'm not looking at this. Okay, speed.net. Yeah. Not doing any of that nonsense. Kerberos. We'll open the site on the browser. General generate code for entity framework. EF will run entity framework. Maybe. Nope. Just closing some windows here. It says it started. So I just launched it again and didn't do anything but crash. Terminate batch job. Yes, please terminate that batch job. I'm gonna double click again. I'm trying so hard to double click with the mouse. I need to figure out why that isn't working. So I wonder, let me go back into Control-Alt-Delete on this laptop to the performance monitor. I'm wondering if anything's actually happening. Nothing significant is happening. Do I have IIS? Still do not have IIS. Let's take a look and see what service host is hosting. Seems like a reasonable way to figure this out, right? And HTTP web proxy? Nope. Yeah, I got nothing. It's not, doing what I expected to do. Hmm. Um, I would have. So it's saying the web. Let's try this. Colon. This is a command, so let's pad. I'm not sure how to turn my mouse on and off. Putting up this web command real quick to see what it does. It runs the DNX. That's essentially the compiler. And that's it. Compiles it, should start it. Just gonna run the other ones real quick. Start with the EF. EF command ran, gen command ran. I'm gonna try this from the command line. Yeah, Rika, this is still for tacos. Trying to figure out why, or how to run this off of just like the most minor thing. Okay, ef.command. So neither of those do anything. So I'm going to kill this web.command again. Yes, terminate this job. Do web.cmd. So all of the other apps closed right away. I'm wondering if it might just be building and taking forever. Command. Let's go back to that first one. No, I want the ASP.NET one. None of these appear to have screenshots that I'm looking for. I am wondering, I gotta think it's doing something, and it's just not very talkative about what it's up to. It's possible that I need to be listening on a specific port. What did try going to here? 16303. I need a specific app to open localhost. Still trying some stuff here. Maybe, well, let's see if there's a place in this specifies what port I'm publishing to. Seeing it? Maybe it's looking for an HTTPS connection. Nope. I'm gonna go through the publish wizard again and see if there is anything. There. Nada. Well, that's a bummer. So I'm gonna have to spend a bazillion D hours trying to figure out how to do that. So I have to, will not apply in my use case ever, but Jesus, that sucks. So maybe I have to go to the there's a www root in here. Mouse really doesn't want to work, so that's cool. Hey, there's a web config in here, which I didn't create. Let's try localhost. Really bothers me that this doesn't work. Like that it's not clear why it's not working. Azure file publish web.cmd. Whatevs. Okay, so that just is a wash. See, we talked about projects.json. The bower.json gets node packages. Build only checks for errors. Nothing is actually written to the disk. Tag helpers. Let's see if we can figure out a tag helper. So we'll get out of this and that. What I'm going to do is follow the instructions that Hanselman has put up. Because I am definitely not an expert in how tag helpers work or what they do. Historically, we've done that. True. I've been there. Oh, okay. Let's do the lazy one first, I guess. So we're going to go into Views, Home, Index, and we're going to do a new paragraph. It's going to be an A. So in here, there's a keyword called controller. Oh yeah, so interesting. So with his tag helpers, is he going to talk about how he built it? So what this is going to be doing is routing instead of making an HTML helper with HTML action like, it's going to look like this with a controller and an action. When they presented, this is how the helpers were defined with ASP-controller. This is an older blog post. Yeah, it's almost 6 months old. So let's see if anything has changed. Yeah, let's look for another. Something more recent. Gallery, tag helpers, 6 beta 4. Here's one from a couple weeks ago. Okay, that's kind of what I was doing. So we're going to do ASP.NET, ASP.NET controller, home, ASP action is to contact. Some text. So we're going to save, build. And there's our link. And so, well, actually, let's look at the source code, huh? What does this actually look like? And it looks like a regular link. So how did it create that? Actually, here's a question. Can we breakpoint this logic? No. So let's demonstrate that that's a something here. So that var a equals home. So I'm just creating a variable, assigning it the string home. Here, I'm going to use just the letter A. There we go. And preface it with the @ symbol to indicate we're actually using the variable. Refresh the page. Boom. You know what? Maybe refreshing the page, not a good test. Let's change this from home to Chloroforme. And Chloroforme didn't resolve, so we return to index. So that's actual C# running right in here. The way they described it there we go. Yeah, I didn't need to have the A. Or the @ sign. Or maybe they're using new bits. Yeah, they're using different bits. So maybe that's why half this crap isn't working. They're using something different than me. The way they described it to me is anything inside this these quotes were code. That is clearly not the case. I'm trying to think of a way to... I can make a controller called int or something, maybe? That sounds like a bad plan. Okay, so we're going to skip that test, because apparently it doesn't work either. We can try making a new tag helper from nothing, though. Find... Actually, maybe this dude eventually talks about how to do it. Yeah. What am I looking at? Why is it not something to do with tag helpers? Okay. I can't remember where they wanted. They wanted tag helpers to go into a specific spot. Checking my notes real quick. Tag helpers extend the class tag helper to have one property and one method. Global import. Is that start up here? Nope. Search to see if anybody... Okay. This is just not in yet, I guess. Tag helper attributes are C# code. So, yeah, the rest of my notes are for stuff that hasn't happened yet. So I guess that's everything I learned at Build. I want to thank you for watching in. Definitely, don't want that there. are you? There we are. Hey! So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Nice having some viewers throughout this whole thing. Shoot me questions, comments. I'll have a contact page up later, but if you check the thingy down there, it should have all my current contact information, as well as a link to the Green Man Gaming to get 20% off of just about any game that is on Steam. So do that, because why wouldn't you do that? Okay, well hey, thanks again. I'll try and do another video in the very near future talking about... I think we're still merging files from merging projects, putting everything in under the Build Labs umbrella. And then I'm probably going to pull that off of Azure and put it onto to one of my servers here in the house. Get business class internet piped through here as I start making my way towards running an independent business. We'll yeah, so we'll probably start doing some of that stuff this upcoming week. Also some Twitch streams in case you want to watch me play video games poorly. We're doing Elite Dangerous a lot lately, so probably more to that. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Yeah.